so today we have a special league tier list. Now, the intent for this video initially was to collect a large amount of data, like a sample size of 10,000 plus, and then present it in tier list form so you guys can see the current meta of Special League. However, collecting 10,000 pieces of data, especially manually, is the key. I've been doing this manually, is more time and energy and effort than I could actually give this one video. So unfortunately, we don't have that large of a sample size, but we do still have a rough tier list that you guys can use as food for thought. So a couple disclaimers. This is based on data collected from 1,000 sample size that I personally manually collected. I would have liked to have a larger sample size. We already explained all of that. Currently, this is weighted more by popularity than win rate. Please keep that in mind. In terms of efficiency and value, I personally disagree with some of the placements, which I'll discuss on this list, but this is based on data collected and usage, not my personal opinion. Please consider this just a general rough guideline. Personally, I feel some of the units left off this list are better than some of the units high on this list. TLDR, this is in Ashir, his triple S tier, just trying to pick him first. That's the TLDR for this entire thing. Also, one thing to note is that everything that's based on speed is so much stronger than anything else here because there's no Leo. Like a normal RTA, you have Leo, and you can just pick Leo as a counter to Tableau, as a counter to Leia, as a counter to anything that does damage based on speed, anything that's super fast. In here, there is no Leo, and that makes a lot of the speed-based stuff go a little crazy because there's nothing to really contest it. So let's get it started. First off, I want to show you guys. This is just a little bit of the this right here, this giant spike. Can you guys? Oh crap! What did I do? This giant spike is a shear. Everything else is over here, like all these things. Like, well, first off, Kamoon and Copper and Bethany, we don't need to see all that stuff, right? Because those are really not very meta stuff. But Ashir, by a landslide, #1, Ashir. We have, actually, you can't see the labels over here, but we do have another sheet where I did a little bit differently. So this is not the top 100 or whatever. This is just the top, I believe it's the top 30 or 40. Actually, it looks like it's 40. So we have Ashir, we have Vigor, we have Tableau, we have Triana as the four most popular ones. We have Fran, we have Tyron, Iselia, Vertiheel. There's just this comp that people are running that's just Tyron, Shimite, or Tyron Ashba. It's mostly Tyron, Shimite, Clara, Gina, and something. What else? Something else. Anyway, we'll take a look at one was. Oh, and Iselia. That's right. This is the one I just mentioned. So this is the top 40 most picked. Let's now take a look at this one. Is the first picks. So my face is always, of course, no, it doesn't matter where it is. It's always over something. So we got Ashir is the #1. Like, this is for first pick situation. Ashir is the king of first picks. Ridiculous king of first picks. We have Tableau here. We have Triana here. We have Vigor. We have Fran. We have Vertiheel. We have Kinky. We have Shimite. So everything else goes down more than that. Here's the list over here. Here's what all the colors pertain to. Let me put the camera back on. Let me go. Now, actually, we didn't even need to put the camera back on because we're going to back to here because we actually want to see the tier list. And then I'll explain how many... Actually, I should have had a number list of the amount of first picks. So Ashir was first picked 69 times. That's a lot. That's so crazy. Tableau was 33, Triana was 23, Vigor was 15, Fran 14, Vertiheel 5, Kinky 5, Shimite 5, Molly 5. Everything, like, nothing is even close to Ashir. Nothing was, that's for first picks, I mean. So nothing was even close to Ashir being first picked in, like... It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So, we have Ashir up here at triple S. I don't think anyone can really argue with that. Even with a larger sample size, Ashir would be triple S. Like, the top tiers, this is basically set. Like, this is what it should be. Vigor, Triana, Tableau, Fran, Tyron, Iselia, Vertiheel, Kinky. We got Gina over here. We got Clara. This is just these two. And this, or also Verisa, like that's just, you have the two Speedleys, you have 2 units on Swift, and then it's just CC, turn cycle, CC, turn deny for the enemies. And kill them with dots and kill them with attack gauge decrease with the Tyre and the Verisa. And then more CC, more additional damage. These things have decent additional damage with, she does a lot of multi-hits with skill 3, so she does benefit a lot from additional damage. And then you have the defense breaks from this, you have continuous damage here. So that's kind of a comp. So many people are running that specific comp that it just floats up to the top. Then we have a Chilling is actually... Chilling got buffs. For those of you that are just coming back to the game from being gone for a while, Chilling got buffs a year ago that a lot of people don't really take into consideration. But Chilling is strong. He was good before. He just got buffs where they were like, let's give Chilling some buffs. Christina, nah, let's give Chilling some buffs. So he's even better than he ever was before, and he has already been useful before. We got Lauren back again. We got the Kaki. Amduat's getting picked a lot. Royd. Rigel. So Rigel, one of the reasons for him is that, as I mentioned, you see the Clara, Isilia, Varisa. Rigel is actually anti-CC, so he counters some of these units. You guys can see, yeah, you guys can see my cursor. So he counters some of this stuff over here. Also, Lulu counters some of the things that people, this fast aggressive CC comp, right? So Lulu counters that. Molly, or potentially counters that. Molly potentially counters that. Antares against the fast aggressive CC. He can cut in, steal turns, and CC your opponents, right? So Rigel just can't be CC'd. That's one of the reasons for that. Yen, which is, I don't know, I'm always surprised to see Yen so high, especially when we consider that Lucian was almost not paid. This is high level. This is not just every level. This is high level. Lucian just not picked, but the reason that Lucian is really not as much of a thing is just Lucian you can counter with either outspeeding and CCing, or you can counter with Kinky, which is very strong. You can counter with fire units. You can counter with what else? There's a couple other Lucian. I think that's basically it. And then we also have Libli. So that's not Libli. That's Siren. That's the Water Joker. That's not Libli. So there's a couple different things that you could use against that. I was surprised to not see Lucian as much. I figured people were still going to be using him. I just figured he wasn't going to be, you know... I figured it was going to be easier to counter him, but people were still going to use him. He just was not getting used. From all of the data that I collected, he just was not getting used that much. He was getting used a little bit, but he was not getting used nearly as much. Yen, so much more than he was. So we got Suiki, we got, these are just turn two kind of bruiser counter units over here. We got the Susano again, another more turn 2 counter bruiser units. This is another turn 2 unit, another turn 2 unit. So if you guys are maybe new to RTA or new to World Arena or like just casual players, like some of these, it's basically turn 1 or turn 2. Are you trying to take turn 1? Are you trying to take turn 2? The nice thing about Ashir and why he's so good is he is a bruiser, but he's also super fast and he can test speed, and then he can just enable your team to take turn 1. And if they aren't taking turn 1, he's still tanky enough to be able to, he's got super crazy high base HP, and he also has strips. That's another thing, is if your opponent starts bringing in a lot of immunity, he's got the strips. He's so versatile. He's so versatile. His base speed is crazy. That's one of the, like, both of these things, base speed is crazy. That's why they're so useful. And the Tableau just enables your team to either take turn 1 and contest turn 1, or, well, not really, or take turn 1 and also give your team 2 whole turns. I got off on a rant on Tableau, but basically it's either turn 1 opener or turn 2 responder. So these things over here are good response units to your enemy's opening. Right over here, this is a good response unit, this is a good response unit, this is a good response unit. This on Triple Revenge is actually a pretty decent response unit as well. This is a good response because she's just going to revenge and potentially strip and CC things. Good response units here. And then we have, this is actually another good response unit, especially if you build her with very high resistance against some of these, like Gina and Clara and all this stuff, where they're going to put a whole bunch of dots on you, a whole bunch of like glancing hits and attack power breaks. Like, she will just cleanse the entire team and throw all the debuffs back to the enemies. The same thing with Hearn here. So these are good response units. At first I was surprised to not see as much of like the Fire Inugami, but then I'm like, oh, you know what? There's not the oracles to pair with the Fire Inugami, so that's one of the reasons that he's not as picked as much. So just one of those things where you think about the Nat 5 things that counter some of these units, and then you also think about some of the Nat 5s that pair with these units, and units shift in value in Special League with the absence of some of these Nat fights, especially Leo, man. Leo is the biggest thing. Also, Leo, Ragdoll. Well, Ragdoll's not really a thing as much anymore with the current meta of all these on it. And you could basically just pick any Onimusha in anything, and they're perfectly fine. They're never really a bad pick, which is crazy. Those units are so good. Why couldn't these Battle Angels be like Onimushas? Those Onimushas were like the most valuable units in Summoner's War. They just came out. They were already good right out the gate. They changed the way the game is played, kind of. But not dungeons, but not most dungeons. But anyway, what else do we have here? So this is some more response units. These are units that are just picked every once in a while. This is another counter to Lucian's, right? This is a counter to anything that's a fast, aggressive cleave. So I was actually expecting him to be a little bit higher on the list. I was expecting Beta. Beta used to be so solid. Beta used to be a thing that people were using constantly in G3. Now, apparently not as much based on the information collected. So this guy, also I was expecting to see some more of him. Magnum, I was expecting to see some more Julie. I was expecting to see some more Akaris and Kyle too, because I think that those are solid units. But it's just that there's just such a prevalence of these and these and this and this that everything is just like revolves around that. Everything revolves around that and this. So all this top tier stuff, everything revolves around that. I was also surprised to see, so these are the ones, this is surprisingly not on here. They're not F tier, they're just surprisingly not on here. I think it's weird that some of these, well, I already mentioned that, but yeah, I was just surprised to see this Dark Robo is so crazy good. In my opinion, he's so crazy good. I was expecting to see more Megan. We don't see the, well, you know what, the Megan has low base speed. That's why we're not seeing the Megan, right? We're seeing the Draco, we're seeing also Magnum counter to Megan, Draco, but we're seeing more outspeed, strip the opponents, and limit their turns versus outspeed by buffing your own team up. And I think that's one of the things to take away from this is Hongyan and Draco, like they're countered by Magnum, so that's why we're just not seeing them there. Is there's enough people in high-level World Arena that have Magnum that people are just going a different direction instead of trying to outspeed with like Draco and Hongyan. So that is the situation there. I was surprised that we didn't see more of like Cichlid. I really think this Dark Robo is great. I was also surprised. Maybe I'm not surprised to see some of these other things. I am kind of surprised that we didn't see more of the Dark Cat. But some of these things are pretty decent. I think we might see them more as time progresses, or maybe there's just, I don't know. I think this would have changed a little bit if there was a larger sample size, which is kind of the bummer thing is that I wanted to mention that was upsetting me is I wanted a 10,000 sample size because I wanted to see like a more accurate. I always want to see more accurate everything, but I was just surprised to not see any of these units here. And then Ryan, man, why are people not using Ryan? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But anyway, maybe we'll revisit this at the end of Special. How long is Special League? Is not that long. By the time I post this, Special League will be ended. That's how long Special League is. But maybe we'll revisit this at the end of Special League, see if things change, see how much things change. Because metas do change throughout the course of even a short season. Metas do change. Because if people are all using this specific team over here, then people are going to get better throughout the season, throughout the Special League, the mini season of Special League at countering that specific comp. And then it will, of course, move a little bit lower as people get better and better and better at countering it. So anyway, that's it for this one. Just wanted to give you guys, did I give you everything? Did I show you everything? Did I show you everything? That's it for this one. See you as always in the next one.